We start in the US, where the Black Lives Matter movement is strengthening its organization with a national convening that started Friday. The movement has developed over the last year in reaction to impunity in the US of police who kill black people. After months of street protests and other actions, the movement says it now needs space to collectively create a mission and build a sense of fellowship that transcends geographical boundaries and begin to heal from the many traumas we face. The conference is being held in Cleveland State University, Ohio until July 26. Greece has requested a new loan from the International Monetary Fund and is now set to meet with the international body and other creditors on Monday. On Friday, the IMF confirmed Greece had officially requested a new loan, despite Athens previously claiming it had no intention to ask the organization for another one. The country will likely aim to conclude the next round of talks before August 20, when the country's next major repayment is due. Greece is currently seeking its third bailout since 2009. The country needs $93 million over 3 years to stave off bankruptcy.
I believe that this government did the right thing. It's for the generations to come. It's a fact that things are hard and they're going to get even harder. But our only hope is for something to be built for future generations, and this is what the government did.
Turkey voted Saturday to continue attacks against the Kurdistan Workers' Party PKK, along with strikers against the Islamic State group. The move will likely be a setback to the peace process between Turkey and the PKK. Until peace talks began in 2012, the PKK fought against Turkey for 3 decades to carve out greater autonomy for the country's Kurdish minority. Kurds have long complained of repression and lack of representation in Turkey. While Turkey has renewed fighting against the PKK, it has also begun strikes against the Islamic State group.
For 8 months, Brian and Jacqueline were incarcerated under what would later turn out to be fabricated charges. They say they are victims of the state's criminalization of social protest.
It's shock therapy for people who organize. And well, one needs to remember that when they kidnapped us, it was with the intention of making us disappear. And that happened in the context of the demands that the 43 Ayotzinapa students be returned alive.
And they attacked Tlatlaya in Tanhuato. One can see the beginning of a series of circumstances that are heading towards a totalitarian imposition from the state.
Yet the 2 activists and former political prisoners say they will not be intimidated by their time in prison. In fact, they denounce and now focus their activities to fighting what they say are rights abuses committed against inmates.
The administration is corrupt, applies violence, and staff the guards use that on the prisoners. So each day we would talk to people, spread ideas and act in solidarity.
The public prosecutor is the most corrupt institution of the entire hierarchy of judicial power. So if the public prosecutor is the one who applies investigations and charges, what is one to expect?
According to a report published this year by Mexico's National Commission on Human Rights, the state of the country's prison system has deteriorated in the past several years, ripe with corruption and lacking basic services. Many rights defenders say a new approach to justice and punishment needs to be developed.
There are theorists, criminologists, penal experts who also agree with the gradual abolishing of prisons that have shown they are not able to reintegrate prisoners into society. Rather, they do the opposite, humiliating them and trying to reduce or annul their humanity.
According to official statistics, Mexico's prisons are well overcrowded by 25%, while academics affirm that the cost of maintaining this population exceeds the income of families living below the country's poverty line. Clayton Cantal Sur, Mexico City.
Honduras' weekly March of the Torches was held again on Friday. Protesters continued to call for the resignation of President Juan Hernandez and for the government to install a commission against impunity. Many Hondurans are calling for the creation of a body similar to the Guatemala's International Commission Against Impunity, in order to investigate corruptions and abuses linked to militarization.
The marches are conclusive. They are a reflection of the Honduran people's indignation against the current context that we are experiencing: corruption, impunity of organized crime, violence, and a lack of independence of the branches of its government.
In Brazil, taxi drivers have protested in what they call Uniting Against Piracy. Over 1,000 taxi drivers blocked the streets of Rio de Janeiro Friday to demand the prohibition of the ride-sharing company Uber. Uber drivers are often not qualified and not subject to the same regulations as taxi drivers. The taxi drivers park their yellow cabs in the Aterro do Flamengo area of Rio, forming a chain stretching for 5 kilometers, equivalent to 3 miles. There are 33,000 licensed taxis in Rio de Janeiro, with the Uber application affecting around 40% of their services. Earlier this month, lawmakers in Brasilia and São Paulo voted to ban the company after protests. Lastly, a Berlin community theater presented a play on Friday based on Joseph Conrad's anti-colonial novel Heart of Darkness, featuring 15 refugees recreating their dangerous journeys crossing borders and seas to reach Germany. During the play, migrants from Afghanistan, Syria, Mali, Somalia, Cameroon, amongst others, built a paper boat as an analogy of the risk they took to reach a better future. The interactive play saw actors and audience members sailing in a ship along the Spree River before walking and even climbing through different terrain, to symbolize the unexpected difficulties of their journey to Europe. The play ended with actors playing dead on the ground, representing all the refugees who have died during their journey to Europe.